Hi, it's Cable X. I'm going to do a video. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, did a annual speech on the 21st of February, I believe, talking about the West, the demoralization of the West with all the various stuff that's happening in the West, and the feedback that he got from those that are opposed to the United States and NATO and the war in Ukraine was largely positive, which I find very strange, because understand one thing: this guy here, just like Joe Biden, just like Zelensky, they're all puppets of the New World Order. They are globalists. All right, they are not. He is not a good person. This guy is from the KGB. Remember that. He was in charge of the KGB. And something I want to highlight is that I encourage you to look up... actually, I'll show you at the end of this video. Basically, the collapse of the Soviet Union was staged. It only collapsed by name only. All the corruption, all the, all the people that ran the Soviet Union, those people never lost power. They simply just went behind the scenes. I've been running the former Soviet states since then, like Poland, Ukraine, Georgia, Hungary, even those other Central Asian republics that were Soviet run. They've been pretty much running them, right? So there's no doubt in my mind the Soviet Union was a fake collapse, but I'm not going to talk about that. I just want to focus on. So let's go to the decode. I'm going to show you that this speech was by the numbers, because this guy is an actor on a world stage. Vladimir Putin, on his birthday, to the speech he did is 137 days, right? 137. And the date numerology was 48 and 46, because the word propaganda is 46 and 48. Propaganda is 119, Vladimir Putin is 46, because, as I mentioned, propaganda is 46, propaganda is 119, as I mentioned here. The annual speech is 119, propaganda is 119. I'm highlighting this because what you're dealing with is complete bullshit. Annual speech is 113, the Jewish cipher. Bullshit is 113, the reverse ordinal, where you put the letters in reverse. The letters in reverse. English ordinal, that's basically ABC 1 2 3. And reverse ordinal is, I'm not going to go too much detail into all ciphers, right? Reverse ordinal is basically Z is 26. Because reverse ordinal is basically Z, from Z to A. Just like from 26 to 1, or 1 to 26. Okay, I don't want to get muddled up. I mean, I can show you right now while I'm here. I'm using this calculator because at the moment, yeah, this is the 4 base ciphers that I'm using up. Reverse ordinal Z1, Y2, X3. English ordinal 1 to 26, A to Z. Reverse full, okay, in reverse from Z to A, being at 1, you got 1 to 9, got 1 to 9, then 1 to 8, full reduction, but 1 to 8, so 1 to 9, 1 to 9. Full reduction is the opposite of reverse full reduction, and then I also using Jewish ciphers as well. Just toggle these. Jewish reduction 1 to 9, 1 to 9, 1 to 9. Jewish ordinal 1 to 27, 1 to 27. Jewish cipher where it starts as 1 to 10, then 20 to 100, then 200 to 900. So as I was saying before, this speech was a propaganda speech. It's important to understand when they do their speeches, it's always synced up to the birthdays all the time. Because as I mentioned, his speech took place 137 days from his birthday, and 137 is the 33rd prime number. Isn't it interesting that the prime number is when he took his speech? The word false flag is 33, the word masonry is 33, the word order is 33. Sorry for the spelling, the capitals. I don't know I put capital in A. It's supposed to be just for the first letter, which is M. 33, right? And this is Mr. Starsh, who I follow on Twitter. He talks about geopolitics and secret societies and all that, the New World Order. He sums it up, because basically what has happened, right, is that people who are in the truth community suppose what's really going on. You have one side, which is like, who are from the left, but got great information, like Webster Tarpley's, the Wade Madsons, the Death Hospice, because they are in the Biden camp, and they put a lot of great information to expose the wrongdoings of Russia. But then they say, oh, Biden's great. And this is what he says. It's the same thing with Donald Trump as well. People are thinking Donald Trump's going to save us. As I mentioned before, he's controlled opposition. It's amazing. This is from what he says, Mr. Stosh. It's amazing how cultish both sides of the fake political scripture have become. They are in a state of mass delusion and mass confusion, I would say, convincing themselves at the most absurd things, or to continue to worship at the feet of their false idols. False idols. This is like Hollywood. This is like the musicians, sports people, politics. We should stay away from false worship of people. I mean, there's a Putin cult that I mentioned in a previous video, and then there's now the Trump cult and the Biden cult. It's becoming, personality cult. Personality cults were, the word back then referred to as Mao, Stalin, Hitler. Now it's back again. Only this time it's done very subtly, because people don't seem to see it's the same thing, but on a different period of history. Because a cult worship, personality cult, was very blatant in those days. People could see it was a personality cult. But I can't seem to see it's the same thing again, because Trump cult, Putin cult, Biden cult. Now people say, the West are falling over Zelensky. They think he's great, and I'm like, again, false idol. This is what he said in the speech, Vladimir Putin. They're destroying the institution of family, their cultural and historical identity, and various perversions within regard to children. Pedophilia is accepted as the new norm. We're the side of the devil, and they will lose. This guy's being stupid, because he doesn't seem to realize that this guy here, things are really bad in Russia. Things are really bad in Russia, despite what he might say about the West. From what I've heard, there's a lot of corruption, or there's lots of corruption. They don't have free speech there. I mean, he goes on again about Western interventions, but what about his interventions in Chechnya, in Syria? Remember, this is a guy that let Iraq and Libya fall to the West. He did nothing to save those countries from destruction. This is a picture of the late Alexander Litvinenko. He's a guy that exposed the truth about Putin and the Kremlin. He wrote a book that exposed false flag operations that were carried out in 99 apartment buildings in Russia. But he got poisoned by polonium-210. He got poisoned in London years ago. Again, this is what I don't understand. Why is it in 2023 people don't know these facts? I mean, I just watched a video on InfoWars where on Rumble. I don't watch InfoWars, by the way. Where Joe Skousen, who's on there, Joe Skousen has great information, but he is controlled opposition as well. At some point I will do a video. I'll show you a video on that, but not right now. Well, he talks about Russia, right? And Owen Schroyer is arguing with him. This is the quote. He thinks the solution is we got to team up with Russia to take on China. And Joe's saying no. Russia and China have always been friends for a long time. Obviously, Joe's guys' perspective is the United States and the West, Russia and China, they're all globalists, they're all bad, evil, and there's no difference between them. They just want their own version of the New World Order. That's his analysis on that. So here's an example of why Russia is bad. Russia jails anti-war journalists 6 years for fake news. Now, as critical I am of the West, of my country, Great Britain, you don't see Britain jailing journalists for 6 years for being anti-war. You don't see that. If you did, there would be uproar, right? But this happens, and where are the people at? Well, I mean, where are they? Hey, where are they? I mean, this is the video I'm talking about. This was the video I was talking about, It's too long, so I won't play it, but it pretty much highlights how the alternative media are controlled opposition. So he breaks it down he does a good job of breaking down what's happening. Now it's interesting here in these comments, people are criticizing this man here because he dares to criticize Russia. And InfoWars, he's been on InfoWars over the years many times, and he's always been critical of Russia. But due to the lack of time, I'm not going to be able to play this. But in the next video, I want to really not play the whole video. I want to play from the most interesting part, because he starts his debate with this guy here on the right for like 5 minutes, and then he's cut off from his video, and then he comes back later by phone call because he couldn't do a video call, couldn't do like a video live, so he had to, so yeah. Alright. Thanks for joining me, guys. See you guys soon.